I head the Regional Institute of Policy Research and Training, which is a organization which has sub-organizations under it. One of them is the Early Warning and Correction Project, which deals with the IDPs and is now shifting to deal with other monitoring and communication issues in the Malakand division. I have been in government for 30 years, so I've seen it from inside also, and now coming out I see it from the public's perspective, what all is missing. So in a sense, this was all in my mind for quite some time. The opportunity wasn't there, and once the problems of Malakand began and this crisis emerged, that is the time when all the pieces were put together and Humpty Dumpty came up with EWCP. The Early Warning and Correction Project, which deals with the IDPs and is now shifting to deal with other monitoring and communication issues in the Malakand division. It deals with improving communications between the government and communities. It also looks at how to improve the delivery of services and the implementation of programs and policies. The objective in starting the EWCP project was basically formed around a conceptual framework which looked into the basis of why communities had lost faith in the government. And after doing a few focus group discussions with various communities in the province and tribal areas, we reached the conclusion that people wanted a set of services from the state, which in terms of hierarchy consisted of security, justice, empowerment, which is political empowerment, and development. And if these services were provided in the right quantity, with the right mix, and with the consultation of the communities, then communications between the communities and the state improved, and there was more opportunity for the communities to bring forward their grievances. Unfortunately, this linkage over the last few years has weakened, and there was a complete gap of the communities not being able to handle their issues vis-a-vis the government. The idea was to create a project which would fill this gap and also remove the other burdensome issue of corruption, because lots of deliveries that are made by the government also do not reach the grassroots and they go missing in the system. Basically, it's an elitist model of development which is revolving around the people who are well-to-do, who take away the resources. We have a development strategy in the country which, because of the financial problems, have become quite circumscribed and has got out of providing services to the people. For example, in '89, when the Pressler Amendment came in, we had to shut down a lot of schools, and that space was occupied by the madrasas, and we developed a dual personality within the same country. Those who were pan-Islamic and looked beyond the national state, who were educated in the religious endowments or madrasas, and the regular Pakistanis who went to the public schools or the government schools, who were taught under the national flag and looked at Pakistan more of a secular state rather than a religious state. Now, these two strains are the ones which are now contesting center stage in the country. And this is the biggest breakdown that unfortunately has occurred between the communities. So there's not only a breakdown of communications between the people and the state, a weakening of that communication, but also amongst communities themselves. You are having two worlds operating side by side in Pakistan. By and large, the team of EWCP that you see is composed of very dedicated young people from the province. They were selected for their various skills. They were interviewed, and most of them are very adept at what they do. But I think the skill that is required here, besides being a planner, besides being a monitor,